Sabrin, please.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here in the southern part of the county. We're all over the state. We were here in Hamilton the other day speaking to the newspaper, looking at the blueberry capital of the world. I didn't even know that, and I've been in the state now more than 30 years. It's exciting. In fact, I eat blueberries every morning. So I'm doing my job for the economy in South Jersey. Anyway, for those of you that don't know me, let me give you a little biography that revolves around a number, and that number is number 9. In 1949, I came to the United States with my parents at age 2. They were the only ones to survive the Holocaust. All their family members were killed. In 1959, at age 12, I became a United States citizen in Lower Manhattan. In 1969, I became a Republican because, having lived through the 60s, I realized the policies in Washington of Lyndon Johnson and the Democrats were not going to lead to a long-term sustainable outcome. And here we are nearly 40 years later, and we have a $3 trillion budget, $500 billion deficit, nearly $10 trillion debt. And here's a really scary number that really compelled me to enter this race at the beginning of this year. $72 trillion of unfunded liabilities. Now, that's a big number. It doesn't mean anything to most people, but here is what it means in dollars and cents. Today, Tax Freedom Day is April 23rd. The average American works from January 1st to April 23rd to pay all their federal, state, and local taxes. If nothing changes in Washington over the next 75 years, the young people that are here today will work from January 1st to August 23rd to pay all their taxes, nearly 8 months of the year. That means young people are growing up to be serfs. The serfs didn't even pay that much in taxes in medieval times, but because of all the promises of Washington, with good intentions, it's financially unsustainable. Now, what happened in 1979? I started my career as an economist and as a money manager up in Massachusetts. In 1989, the Berlin Wall came down. I had nothing to do with it. I wish I did, and I would be very proud of that event occurring, but that was one of the great events of Western civilization, the collapse of communism before our eyes. Why? Because it was unsustainable as well. In 1999, I entered the Republican primary for the U.S. Senate, didn't make it, ran against 3 career politicians, outspent 20-1, and didn't make it. And in 2009, with your help and all the great people of New Jersey, I will be the next senator raising my right hand to defend and protect the Constitution once again.
If you don't mind, I'll catch a ride to Washington.
Well, this is why we have a great team. For too long, the politicians have taken us for granted. They've told us they're going to make life better, they're going to keep costs under control, they're going to keep taxes low, and it just hasn't happened. That's one of the reasons I'm in this race. The other reason is the financial situation in America. I've been warning about this since the 1970s. Since the 1970s, I've been saying you cannot continue to do what we're doing in Washington, borrow all this money, then print it up, which makes it less valuable, and have a strong economy. And we're seeing the results of that today. People are losing their homes because we have these bubbles. We had the roaring 20s, we had the go-go 60s, we had the boom of the 80s, the boom of the 90s, and now again in this decade, and they all end in unfortunate, very difficult situations for a lot of people. So my job in Washington is to downsize the government, put the dollar on a strong trend, because now it is very weak, as we all know. Going to Europe, you have to take out a home equity loan to go to Europe now. Really, it's that bad. I spoke with people recently, just going to get a cup of coffee in Europe is $50 for a cup of coffee and some rolls. You know, our currency is very weak, and the evidence throughout history is that if you have a weak currency, you have a weak economy. We need to have a strong currency that will give us a strong economy by downsizing Washington. We were there recently, and I can tell you there's some wonderful people there, but there are thousands of them shuffling paper, shuffling checks around, and they don't provide anything of value to the American people. We have to make a government that's consistent with our Constitution. And if we had a government consistent with our Constitution, I would not be in this race. Justin would not be in this race. If we had followed the basic principles laid down in the 1780s when they wrote the Constitution, we would have a much stronger economy today. So thank you for supporting Justin. Thank you for supporting the ticket. We have a great opportunity to put the country on the right track. When 81% of the American people say we're on the wrong track, that tells you that there's a lot of anxiety and frustration out there. and with people like Justin and the rest of the ticket, we can achieve a great victory, not for any interest group, but for the American people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc.